Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Earthen's Den. So, in this episode, I kind of want to talk to you guys about reassessment and trials and tribulations. Now, for me, I can be very analytical, and I think one of the things that I want to work on next year is being a little bit more compassionate. But I can honestly say, I think that it's something that I balance, and it's not always the best balance, but I believe that oftentimes we are so emotional that we actually don't make the best decisions. I think there's nothing wrong with being somebody who's in tune with their feelings, but I just want to say this. Sometimes I can enter into a space where I am assessing my emotions, like overly assessing them. You know what I mean? And so it's too analytical, and then I'm not going with what it is that I feel. But I can honestly say I've gotten a lot better with that because of meditation. And so knowing what I feel to be true, but not allowing it to always move me. Because I think a lot of times, a person who is overly emotional or a person who is very emotional, what happens is you don't feel like doing something, so you're not going to do it, even though you know that this can help you, or you don't feel like this is the right thing to do, but you know this is the right thing to do, but you're not going to do it because you don't feel like it. You know what I mean? Or, and like I said, even in regards to relationships and surrounding yourself around the right people, I think oftentimes if you are somebody who is too emotional, you'll stay in situations and you'll extend yourself in such a way when you know this is detrimental to your growth and all of those things. And I talk about God and the power of God, and I think that God can do a lot of things. I think that God is omnipresent and supernatural. But fortunately and unfortunately, God definitely gave us the power of will, so oftentimes we're waiting on God while God is waiting on us. And I say that to say, God will do certain things in your life, but it's up for you to be obedient. It's up for you to see it and to receive it and to move accordingly. You know what I mean? We can't always we can always rely on God. That's not what I'm saying. But we can't if God is showing us something, it's then up to us to be obedient to that, you guys, and it's then up to us to follow that and then do that lead work. You know what I mean? And so I was sitting here and I was like, oh man, with Earthen's Den, I like I said, I try to make content that I'll be proud of from like 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Like, I know it's not that extreme, but I do think to that extreme just because I'm like, okay, the thing about the internet is that once you put something out there, it's still going to be there and it'll always be there forever, But I'm sitting here and I'm reassessing and I'm like, man, one of the things about me is that I'm a person who sometimes, this could be a hindrance, but the impulsivity within myself really does allow me to go after what it is that I want and not stall and not procrastinate because I'm not afraid to make mistakes. There can be a little bit of perfectionism that comes out sometimes, but I'm learning that that's nothing more than procrastination and nothing will ever be perfect. And so I think for me, I'm definitely a more hands-on learner, and I definitely enjoy getting out and doing things and just kind of learning as I go, because I think that those are kind of, in many ways, not all the time, but in many ways, those are some of the best ways in which lessons are acquired, but I'm never really I guess I just wanted to kind of get on here and say that, I'm not really like a one-sided thinker. I don't really have like a one-track mind. And so with anything, I'll listen back at some of these and I'm like, okay, yeah, I don't think that way anymore. Oh yeah, I see a different perspective in such a way, and it's not really like a double-mindedness. I think that if more than anything, it's just me being very adaptable, so I guess this is kind of what I wanted to get on here and share with you guys. And the takeaway from this would definitely be to, find a balance. I say find a balance with it. Like, there's nothing wrong with being somebody who is who actually thinks. Honestly, I think that this is a good thing to think about certain things before you do them, and then there's nothing wrong with being a person who's in tune with their emotions. But I just think that with everything, try to find like a medium, and definitely, I mean, I just recently adapted the trial and error method, and it really works for me. I much rather learn through trial and error and just figure it out versus trying to, find some solid plan or you know what I mean, that it's going to take too long to conjure up. But that's just kind of like my overall method. And yeah, so I guess that's pretty much what I just wanted to get on here and share. And I'm going to leave you guys with your thoughts and, really sit and think about, how do you approach things? What are some of the methods that you employ in regards to your decision making? And are you somebody who's too emotional, who needs to learn to be a little bit more analytical in your decision making, Or are you someone who's too logical and needs to find a balance between being a little bit more compassionate in regards to others and to yourself and your decision making?